Hello Libra, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Libra, we are looking at your spiritual success and activation in these readings that we're doing right now. I'm going to ask 4 key questions in this reading. I'm going to ask, what are you most disheartened about, or what do you feel the most blocked in right now? How is this block shaping the course of your life? What you can activate in your life right now, and how you can move away from your worries. So we're going to do Wild Unknown. I've got the Wild Unknown, the Poet. Well, that's beautiful. I've got the Wild Unknown Archetype, Wild Unknown Oracle. Maybe you're going to go into deep poetry. And the Wild, independently, the Wild Unknown Tarot. You see how you read? That's how you read cards, man. That's all you got to do. Yeah, so we're going to get started with this. I have been told that Kim Kranz has a new deck out, Wild Unknown Alchemy, I think it is. I will be getting that, so thank you for the heads up. For those that have, quite a few people have. You guys are really on the ball. Like, you're not even paying attention to those things. All right, Libra. The Scales of Cosmic Justice. Let's get started, okay? What the way I said that? It's like, okay. I almost feel like it's kind of a funny feeling. It's like you're ready for it, but you're worried about it. I don't think you need to be worried about it. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's kind of funny. So let's see what it is for you. Maybe, you know what, I feel like you're ready. You want to go and hear something like this. And, but you're kind of worried about it. You already know what the answer is. And actually that's, I mean, tarot really is just kind of tells you what you already know, or brings it into a different perspective so that you can see it differently. It's almost like, I feel like you know you have to do something, but you're kind of like, yeah, I guess Spirit's going to tell me to do it. I don't know. It's funny. So let's see. Libra. All right, Libra, area of your life you are disheartened about or feel the most blocked in. Oh, the Seed. This card is going around like crazy. Y'all are having new beginnings, rebirths. Knowing that at one time in your life you were the mighty oak. And then right now you're kind of like back down to this compressed seed. And I'm saying compressed. So maybe you're feeling kind of compressed, or maybe you're feeling confined, or maybe you're feeling like some kind of options have been limited where you didn't think options would be limited. But there's definitely a struggle to move forward. It's almost asking you to remember something that might be hard to remember. And that is, you know, when you were a babe and you learned to crawl, when you were a babe and you learned to walk. That was a struggle. That was a monumental struggle to learn how to use your body and then strengthen muscles that you've never ever used before. So, I mean, because that's what this is like you're being asked to strengthen muscles you've never used before. So probably being asked to grow in a direction or in a way that you've never done before. So it can feel like, some days it can feel like your head is spinning in this. You're not sure what direction to go in. It's just literally one foot in front of the other. And if you feel like you have a block, well, I can focus on this part of my life today, you know. And that's like if you run into a big rock when you're trying to grow up out of the soil. So you go sideways and up and across. So it is a rebirth. I would say the Seed really symbolizes that, like a new beginning here. Or when is this really going to sprout? When is this really going to take off? How does this block shape the course of your life? Wow, the Offering. You know, I feel like you're finding yourself in a position where typically you would have a lot to give. You would have a lot to give. But it's almost like maybe people or circumstances are kind of giving to you. Like things are being offered to you. Oh shit. Yeah, look at this. LXVI and LXIV. The last two are mirroring each other. That happened in someone else's reading. I think it was the same two cards too. I think they were in different spots on the table though. Isn't that crazy? It is mirroring. Oh, the universe is almost saying, no, this is a time for us to give to you. But they may not be the things that you want. Or you may not see value in it because typically you would be giving. The offering. I gotta keep going here. What can you activate in your life right now? The destroyer. Something you got to break down. Something in your life to break down. I mean, it could be ego, dealing with the seed. It could be something in your life, like it could be a relationship, it could be work, could be a number of things. We have more cards to pull out. Sorry, I'm burping, drinking my So beer. Have you ever had this? It's really good. It's non-alcoholic vegan lager. I would think most would be vegan, but I don't know. This one has a hint of grapefruit. They're really good. They're full of vitamins. Yeah, it's got riboflavin, zinc, folate, vitamin B, selenium, iron, calcium. As I have another sip, let's keep going. How can you move away from your worries? Oh, the mirror. I feel like with the mirror is to look closely at yourself. So is there something outside of you? No. Sorry. I'm asking questions and getting responses. I was asking, is there something outside of you that causes you to worry? No, the biggest worry is yourself. I'm getting a lot of chatter in this reading, like talk back. I get that a lot with air signs. When I'm doing the reading, sometimes with Gemini, a lot of times with Libra, I'm getting it in this reading where I can hear some of you talking back to me. Like, no, I'm not worried about anything inside. There is something here. There's something that you're not looking at. Maybe it is a breaking down of the ego here. What's at the bottom? The shadow. Ooh, baby. There's a shadow. I kind of feel like there's a shadow element of you right now, Libra. Or there's something that you're being asked to look at, understand it, break and transform it. And this could be why, like, you're having some kind of a block in a new beginning. Because you can't, with this card, like, you can't see the moon because I feel like this big mirror sits between you and the moon. So it's a difficult time to actually, like, dig into your intuition or an external guidance system, like something outside of yourself. Being asked to look at something here. Maybe, yeah. The shadow is too, like, the shadow elements of ourselves are things that we're usually, like, I would kind of link moon energy to it. But you can't see the moon. There's something within yourself here that I feel like drives a fear. But it doesn't, see, this is why I feel like I'm also getting talk back. It's reading. Getting talk back. Like, I've done shadow work. I'm good. I'm not, there's nothing I'm worried about internally about myself. But to move away from your worries is to look at yourself. I do feel like there's something perhaps about the confidence to move forward. The confidence to move forward. This is a hard reading. I've never had this much talk back in a reading before. So I don't know who it is. I don't know if you're going to voice in the comments. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see where this goes. Because your ego is coming out really strong. Somebody's ego is coming very strong. And I don't mean like, oh, you're so puffed up about yourself. No, 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 no. It's protecting something. Your ego is protecting something here. And it's protecting it fiercely. Your ego is protecting something fiercely. If you would only look inside, you would not be worried anymore. But your ego keeps telling you everything is fine, you don't need to do it. Good. Area of your life you are disheartened about or feel the most blocked in. Well, the owl. Well, that is really about seeing things clearly. You can't, right? You're in the dirt. You're the seed. You know, when I talked earlier about needing to learn how to do something again, well, I guess as an adult, anything is kind of learning to do something again. But this is the feeling of it being the first time, or it's the same kind of struggle of like a baby learning to, you know, but it is, they do it at first. They learn to push themselves up, and then they squint their little asses around, and then they start crawling, and then they start standing up and falling down, and standing up and falling down. But right, there's no ego there. So there's nothing there to tell them that you're not doing this very well. Or, you know, they just fall down. Sometimes they get frustrated. Screaming, somebody picks them up. But like, there's that beginner mind. It's a very, very prominent beginner mind that's coming. It's wanting to come through here. But I'm getting really a strong pushback from the ego. I'm bigger than this. I'm bigger than this. But no, you're not. You're the seed again. We've all been there. We've all done it. But in some, I don't know what, right? Like, come on. I can't, like, argue about this. The mirror reflects yourself back to you. That's how you move away from your worries. The destroyer. I feel like because you have this, like, new beginning, new mind here, is the thing that you feel blocked in, is something to do with the ego. And we have shadow here. I'm not making this up. I know somebody's, I can just hear you. I don't know who it is, but let's keep arguing about it, okay, bitch? Let's do this. How does this block shape the course of your life? The offering. I also feel like there's some help around you, but the starfish. Oh. One of the things that I've been doing this week when I've been doing these readings is there'll be like a little edit at some point in this video where I sit with all the cards, and I even go back into the books. And I've been going back into even this book, even though I've had this oracle deck for quite a few years, because I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to remember the things that I've forgotten. And I've said that a few times, so I'm saying it quickly in case you've been here before in other readings. The starfish, one of the newer things that came up for me that I kind of forgot about with this card was that the starfish energy can rely solely on its looks. So I don't know if some of you are getting a little bit longer in the tooth. You can't rely on your looks as much as you used to, but there's definitely something about superficiality that can sit with this card. Not all the time. Because we have the shadow at the bottom, we've got mirror, you need to look at yourself to move away from your worries. Activate your life right now is to destroy something, I feel like, that's based on a new beginning that your ego is not dealing with. One of the things that you could be getting is the offerings that you do receive from people. And maybe this is one of the reasons why you're like, is that they are superficial. Maybe you do get superficial offers from people. I feel like I almost need an alcoholic beer. It's really... How can you activate, no, what can you activate in your life right now? The destroyer. The lamb, get into that new mind. Shit me. Wow, what is this ego is really hanging on to something. So I don't know if this ego has something to do with something that happened in your childhood. I'm going there because this is a very strong, this ego feels like it was solidified a long time ago. A very long time ago. So long ago that it's become an innate aspect of your personality that if someone was to say to you, oh, that's a bit of a shadow element that you haven't worked through, you wouldn't know. The feedback that I'm getting. The feedback that I'm getting in this. Something about, it feels like there's something here about your childhood. It's coming up. Okay, you learned for some reason early in life, whether through a parent, older siblings, something here, someone, about superficial offerings, superficial engagement and relationship, something superficial here. Some of you, like maybe some of you have worked through, the ones that have worked through this, I know you're not yelling back at me. It's the ones that haven't that are yelling back at me that they're okay. It's the other ones that I feel like that have worked through this are just sitting here going, God, yeah, I remember. But there's something here about superficial offerings. Wanting to paint a picture that's not completely accurate. There's really, I feel like if you can push through this, whatever it is, if it's not 100% connected to what I'm picking up here, but I feel like I'm picking up something for someone. You may, and when I say like this example was shown to you or given to you, like I literally am getting this hand and arm looks very youthful to me, but yet I feel like with the seed and the lamb, you are even more youthful than this. So it almost feels like it could have been a very young and inexperienced parent, or it could have been older siblings, right? That still would have been young people. And I don't know if they manipulated you when you were younger, when you were a kid. I feel like you're younger than them. But yet, I don't know if they manipulated you in terms of, like, oh, here's some, I have some extra chocolates that I happen to have, you know, I want you to have some. And it almost feels like excited to get the attention or a gift from this sibling, or I don't know who this is. It could be a neighbor. It could be like a kid, another kid that you admired in your neighborhood, but was a little bit older than you. And they're giving you this attention. So you like it. It's like, really? From me? Yeah, I came all the way over here. I had some extra ones I was thinking about. I know you like chocolate, so I'm going to give you some chocolates. You're like, oh, wow. And then, like, let's say a day goes by. And then they come over again. And they say, something just happened over there with my bike. The chain came off and I can't ride it right now. Would you mind if I used your bike? But you said, the thing is, their chain came off a couple of days ago and they brought the chocolates over yesterday because they knew they wanted to ask you for your bike. They never offered you the chocolate because they liked you. That's the part. There we go. That's the part. They never offered you this because they liked you. But I feel like this comes from a while ago in your life. This comes from a while ago. And it's almost like producing this eureka moment because we will mimic. And we can start. And that's why I feel like this is young, because the mind is so moldable at young ages. And if this happened enough, if you interacted enough with, and this other kid seemed like they were being pretty successful and like they had a lot of friends, they were in different clubs or sport, I don't know, there was something that you admired about them. And then when you saw how they kind of went through life, so I don't feel like you, I mean, maybe you were later on, and I feel like you've cleared that part of the shadow up. Like if you were kind of engaging in relationships like this with other people, God, yeah, that could really be like just such an ingrained aspect of your personality. I feel like it's right, like there's almost like a couple of levels of this. Why does that look oily? Am I oily? Oh my God. Like there's black, gray, black, and white in this. There's a lot of shades to this. I don't know specifically that you are acting like this in relationships. I'm not getting that as strongly as you are receiving these offerings still. Like this is how this is shaping the course of your life. What's the next card? How can you move away from your worries? Don't keep yelling at me in the comments telepathically because I can hear you. The shark. Deep hidden secrets, Mahan. Deep hidden secrets. You've got to look in the mirror at this. You've got to see how people are treating you. I feel like at some point you recognize that you were doing this, like in relationships for yourself, and you're probably getting pretty good at it because it was maybe even like too. I mean, Libra, I want to say you're probably coming up with all sorts of ways at any given time to produce and create balance in different types of relationships around you. This could be like really fine-tuned as you got older and were in many different situations, like your work life, your family life, your friend life, your club life, whatever life. All the different ways you could do this. I almost feel like you've kind of corrected it in how you deal with relationships, but I feel like it's still coming at you because there's something you have to look at. Maybe it has something to see with your own value here, seeing your own value. See somehow how, in some way, that you've devalued yourself. That seems like the shadowy part here. And that seems like what I feel like I'm getting such a heavy pushback. And it might, maybe you're not even thinking like, Cindy, no, Cindy, no, Cindy. But somebody's ego is in there. And it is pushing so hard on me in this reading. Don't want to be the lamb, don't want to be the lamb, don't want to be the lamb. When you're the lamb, you're taken advantage of. When you're the lamb, people manipulate you. When you're the lamb, people will use you. Okay, well, you have the whale at the bottom. Isn't that funny? I think that was at the bottom when I pre-shuffled. So you really need to go deep here. To look at something deeply. Now, I really feel like, too, move away from your worries is move away from being like a shark. Like, so maybe you're a little bit aggressive in relationships if they're not quite going the way that you want them to be. You could strike out. You could strike. Things that you offer to people, and when they're not reciprocated the right way, it causes your ego. I mean, I think that a lot of people work through that, but it's very specific here, though, for you. And even this mirror reminds me like of a shark's tooth. Like even the shark's tooth in there. See how, like, okay, you're being asked to be like gentle and sweet. Activate in your life right now is the lamb. Move away from your worries is this shark personality. It's a part of your ego that really goes into, I feel like, an attack mode, perhaps. When what you're offering is not accepted. There's some sort of connection here about what you have to offer to you feels strongly linked to your value. But again, with the starfish, I don't feel like this doesn't necessarily to me feel like that this is your emotions. Let's see what tarot cards come out. These could be monetary gifts. They could be presents. Yeah, anything. But when these are not taken as you are offering them, there is a pretty strong part of you that I feels threatened. Your ego feels threatened here. And it feels like it goes back to your childhood. It could even be when you were offering things to older kids or parents. I kind of want to say, like, well, you know what? It doesn't matter. There are some young parents that are just amazing. And then there's some older parents that are just like a shit show. Just, there's someone here. So even this younger energy is just not well developed. And you offering things to them and them not being accepted. Yeah, I shouldn't say that about young parents because I've met some, I'm like, wow, you're amazing. Doing that at like 20 years old. I couldn't do it when I was 30. The Hanged Man is here. Area of your life you were disheartened about. There's something you're being asked to look at. You've got to look with the Owl and the Hanged Man and the Seed. The World. How has this shaped the course of your life? Wow, you need to successfully complete this. That's what it feels like. You need to successfully complete this to move forward in some capacity here. Your Seed perhaps is feeling blocked. And it almost feels as if I'm just constantly looking, constantly observing, constantly understanding what's going on outside of me. Inside, and the Shark is deep hidden secrets. I wonder if there's even some sort of trauma here. Where you may have even blocked out the traumatic experience, but yeah. But the way you react based on the traumatic experience is the result and how the ego in this was produced. What you can activate in your life right now. The Two of Swords, your intuition. Admit that you don't have all the answers. Admit that you don't know how everything should unfold. This is a hard kind of reading. You know, yeah, it is. I find air signs can be some of the hardest to read for because you are so intellectualized. Yeah. How can you move away from your worries? The Mirror and the Shark, look at it. The Moon. It's the biggest thing you're afraid of looking at. It's this, there's a fear here. Gosh, I really am feeling like there's some sort of trauma that somebody's dealing with. Did somebody lure you when you were young with an offering? Like this ego is not, the more I'm getting into this reading, like it's looking at me too. Like in this card, it's just like, I'm in its crosshairs, this ego. Like you cannot break this wall down, a little tarot reader I'm hearing, because it will be the end of who I've been protecting all this time. But you're not in that environment anymore, and you're not even that person anymore. So the ego is not kept up with who you're becoming and who you've become. But this World card here, it tells me that this is the stepping stone to finally move forward. It's something that has been keeping you back, the Hermit. There's definitely a fear to face here. Now, I know sometimes my readings can trigger like a lot of things emotionally for people, and even psychologically. Usually it's really good. Like I'm going to caution here, like whatever I'm pulling in here, this offering, I'm going to be honest. I think like if there's some sort of trauma here, and even if you can't remember what the trauma is, if it's kind of resonating on some level about this overprotective reaction and offering, somehow being taken advantage of when you were younger, I don't know that I would necessarily even explore this on your own. Like I would even possibly seek someone who could be like a counselor. I'm going to take a minute. So you're going to see a quick little edit. It's like nothing for you. And I'm going to look a little bit deeper into the cards and just give, yeah, especially for a message like this. I'll be right back. Okay, Libra, we're back. See, that was like a blip. So if we go a little bit deeper into this, there is something that the universe is asking for you to let go of, to release. Whatever this is, it is coming across as somehow superficial. So it could be like a layer of a mask that you've always worn. But again, I feel like if it seems like a superficial thing, it's actually a really big thing. And one of the things that I found was interesting in the book with this card, one of the quotes is like a little scientific fact, which is really true. The closer an object is to the light, the longer the shadow it casts. So the more you may feel activated or spiritually successful, the more shadow you actually have to look at here. And I feel like the shadow has gotten elongated because I really do feel like you've done a lot of work here. I feel like you've read a lot of books. I feel like you've studied a lot about your own spiritual and personal growth. But there's a step here that's missing, and it's definitely true about like if we look at these two cards, looking at the mirror instead of the moon. Because what we're seeing just a reflection of perhaps what we want to see. But we're not seeing the truth. And, right? We're having trouble discovering some sort of truth here because there's something deep inside that you haven't worked on. And maybe you know it. Like maybe you're kind of like, yeah, I know it. I'm just not ready to do it. And if that's the case, that's fine. But it is just to know that I feel like you will stay in whatever cycle you're in until you do it. So if there is a question about like, why do I have to, you know, observe and think? Because you can work on all the other things, but there's one thing here that hasn't been touched on, and it is hanging on for dear life. So I kind of want to say, if it hadn't seemed like it throughout the first part of this reading, I feel like you all have probably come a really long way in like spiritual personal achievement, growth, development. And right, as it said, as it stated, the closer an object gets to the light, the longer the shadow. So it doesn't matter how close you get to the light or how close you get to feeling like you've succeeded. You are at a stop getting that here until you look at this. Now, I haven't done this for very many. I only did this for someone else. Yeah, I'll stick with this deck in here. I'm going to clarify just, yeah, some stuff. It's really fascinating. And this might be a part of you that I really do feel like you've put it off the longest in terms of personal and spiritual development. And you honestly can't go any further until you do this one aspect now. It's like, let's say you hate getting gas. Like, I don't mean like yourself. It's probably not. In your car. Like, let's just say you hate putting gas in the car or whatever, okay? So you always had someone else do it. It's just an analogy, it's just a metaphor. And you always manage, like, you know, when the car's getting low, I'll make sure so-and-so is with me. Or, oh, okay, the next time I go out, I'm going to have to get gas, but the next time I'm going out, I'm picking up Sally Sue to go to our little, I don't know, tea and biscuits. She'll be able to help me with the gas. I'll just make myself look busy, ask her to fill up the car while I go into the, right? Like, you're putting this off, but you do, like, so many other things. And it's literally, it's come down to, you've packed up the car is ready to go, you have your route even made in your GPS or your map or your road map or whatever it is, and the car is packed, the kids are packed, or the kids are too young, they can't put gas in the car, and everything has fallen into place so that you cannot go on this trip until you put gas in the car. But you have to put the gas in the car. Nobody else is available to do this. And you know you've only got enough gas in the car to get to a gas station. You can't make the trip. So you've got to put the gas in the car. I don't know why you don't want to put gas in the car, right? I guess, but that's kind of like what this ego part is. It's just, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to look at it. I don't like it. Oh, I can focus on this, and this part of me, I'll grow and I'll develop, and that's great. Yeah, great friendship with Sally Sue and at the tea and biscuit party. It's all good. And then it's just like all this time, you've made it this far in life, Libra, and you've never had to put gas in the car. But now you have to. So whatever the gas in the car represents, it represents something that you don't want to do. I feel like because it pokes at a really sensitive wound from a long time ago, a very long time ago. Maybe you went to put gas in the car. Maybe a parent was teaching you how to fill up the car one day when you were maybe a teenager or something, and you made a mess. I don't know. Just the gas went everywhere. You got it on your dad's shoes. They were like, you heard your father swear for the first time. You're like, oh my God. It was like you were just traumatized. I will never put gas in the car again, right? Like, I don't think it's that trivial that it's gas, but right, like the gas symbolizes moving forward. And even in this metaphor, like you can't, the car is packed. You have got your route made on the map. You know even where you want to go. But you can't go until you put gas in the car. So, okay, let's just, I said I would clarify. We have the Seed, the Owl, and the Hanged Man. The Seed, the Owl, and the Hanged Man. The Seed, the Owl, and the Hanged Man. The Seven of Pentacles. You keep coming up with it. You keep coming up with, okay, well, maybe we just won't go on the trip. What? We're not going on the trip? You promised me on the trip. We're going to go swimming. We're going to go have marshmallows at the campfire. Now all the kids are pissed because, well, they can't put gas in the car. That would be child abuse if you had like 5- and 6-year-olds gassing up the car. So Yeah, like the Seven of Pentacles. How do you have this new beginning? I'll tell you. You can't keep coming up with a solution for this, because the only solution is something that you have to give up here to the universe, and you are holding on to it for dear life, because it represents some sort of, if you face this, if you do this, you are terrified in some ways that you may be seen as the person that you do not want to be seen as. But I honestly think that your ego is more terrified of this than anybody. Anybody won't care. Well, they're fine with how you are. It's just a perception, but you've got to put gas in the car. No one else can do this. You've got to do it, and you can't avoid it. You have to offer this up somehow. You've got to offer up this level of your ego. You can't pass the threshold. You can't go beyond the gate. The starfish and the wheel, the offering, the starfish and the wheel. How this block is shaping the course of your life. It's not letting you go forward until you do it. The Magician, the Eight of Swords. Yeah, it doesn't matter how hard you try to keep manifesting, how many different ways you try to come up with a solution or an answer for whatever this is. I don't know what it is. If there's one part of your life that you feel like is just not progressing the way you would like it to, or it's just life in general. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I do know that it just continues to tell us, like, you can't. You'll even convince yourself you can't do it. You might even get into that. I think that was in one of these cards. Was it the Destroyer and the Offering? I don't remember. Yeah, you'll full on tell yourself that. But that's the key. Now, was it the Mirror? It was one of these cards. When you'll know that, okay, there's a trigger here. When you say you can't do it, then you know that there's something to look at. What can you activate in your life right now? The Destroyer, the Lamb, and the Two of Swords. Ooh, the Star. This would be the biggest point in your healing. I really feel like that. I don't feel like I'm talking to a bunch of narcissistic idiots. Like, I feel like I'm talking to some people that have really done some deep work here. But just remember, the closer you get to the light, the longer the shadow you're going to cast. It is in some ways like a conundrum, isn't it? Because the more work you do on yourself, each elevation up is going to ask you to look at things that were harder to look at than what you looked at before. Because it's an elevation up. You can activate your healing. That's what you can do in your life right now. You can allow yourself to feel new and freshly born and inexperienced in where you're going. There's something that I feel like you need to offer to the universe to do this. There's something that you need to give up. It feels a lot like it's the ego, but there could be something that is, I feel like probably with the starfish, something in the 3D that you need to give away, to let go, to release. And that is what the ego is connected to. Like this thing, when you do it, the representation of doing that is what makes this ego freak out. How can you move away from your worries? The Mirror, the Shark, and the Moon. You've got to look deeply, right? And you've got to look deeply into something here that terrifies you. I would say the Shark and the Moon. That's kind of terrifying. But instead of doing that, like, you get caught in the mirror. I'm just looking at what I want to see here. The Mirror, the Shark, and the Moon. The 9 of Swords. I'm I'm telling you, air signs are the hardest to read for. To move away from your worries, you have to face them head on. And it's not going to be easy. This isn't an easy one, man. You got to go right into the Nine of Swords. But that might be where you feel comfortable because you are an air sign. So you want to do that. Let's look at the shadow. The shadow. The Four of Cups and Judgment. There is something here about your offers, like being judged by them. Maybe this offering in itself is what is your new beginning. I don't know, like maybe you need to offer a part of your deeper self in some way, but your ego is terrified of being destroyed in this. Because there's a rat sitting on these cups. Again, there's the new beginning. But you've got to complete something here. Something that you tell yourself you can't do. I kind of feel like, too, with this card, I really get so much coming in with this card. You could have been like the sweetest kid and, you know, like giving little gifts or making little things and giving them to people. That kind of came from your heart. And, oh, great, thanks. And you thought, oh, they like that. But then you saw it later, it was like, oh, they dropped it on the grass and they never went to get it again. You know, this kind of stuff that would break your heart. Like, oh, I just left it in the grass. So maybe there is even just like offering some sort of deep part of yourself. Your ego is like, holy crap, man. You're going to go back to that? You're going to go back to being little Tommy and getting like your heart crushed? I don't know. Or little Jane. I know, I really need to come up with more universal names. Look at Bobby Sue's and stuff. Look at the Hermit and the Whale. I don't know how long you need to look deeply in yourself here. The Hermit and the Whale. The freaking Hermit just landed on the Hermit. The Whale. Look at the King of Cups. Sorry. Oh, it landed on the Shark. It has something to do with deep emotions. The Four of Swords. I'm always healing them, always healing them. Heal. I just need a little more time to heal. I just need a little more time to heal. At some point, there's an activation that's required. I'm healing my deep emotions. Yeah, you are. It's good. Look at this. The Mother of Wands, the Sun, and the Strength card. You got this. You got it, man. Yeah, you can do it. You can do this. You know you can. Man, I don't know what that was. I feel like I was rough on you. But I feel like I have to be rough on air signs sometimes because you talk back to me. I can hear you. So that's what I have, Libra. That's what I got. I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, I have like 4 different decks. I'll have to get another teeny tiny because I used that one. And I'm going to ask the cycle that you are leaving, the cycle that you were entering, the void, or like the void space between these 2 cycles, like what your focus in that void will be. And then we're going to ask for advice for you. So that's what I'm going to do over there. Thank you so much, Libra. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves, but honest. Bye.